Hello, thank you for stopping by. This is Meg, your next to Cheese YouTube channel, your one-stop channel for cutting and sewing tips and style illustration. So, if you have not subscribed to this channel, you want to do so right away and click on the notification bell so that each time we upload a new video, you be the first person to know. So, in today's class, we're going to be learning how to cut and sew this style you're seeing on this video. So this style has a slit at the front, okay, and it is a cut together shoulder, otherwise known as extended shoulder. The sleeve is cut together with the shoulder. So the first thing you want to do is the required measurement. You need the length of the gown. It's a long gown, so you need the length of the gown. You need your hip circumference. The hip circumference will be used to shape both the bust circumference and the waist circumference. It's going to be a free boubou gown. Then we are attaching an inner belt to snatch the waist area. Okay, now for the shoulder, you want to measure from your center shoulder to your wrist. Okay, to your wrist. Now in this case, I already cut out this, so I'll just be explaining the dimensions to us. The length of this gown is 55. That's the length of the gown, actually the floor length. Okay, 55. Then the extended shoulder is 31. From half of the shoulder to the wrist is 31. Then for the hip circumference, the hip circumference is 35. The exact hip circumference is 35, but you want to add lots of excesses. So this, my division here, I have 13 inches here. Remember that this is half block. So 13 times 2, that's 26. Times 2 again, that's 56. So I have 56. By the time we join the front and back together, we'll be having 56 inches. Okay, so then for the neck, I use, of course, you want to slope your shoulder down from to do your shoulder slant. You want to measure from this center point to your neck 3 inches. And from this down point where your extended sleeve end, you want to measure 1.5 downwards. So I've already slanted this point here by 1.5 into the neck area like so. Okay, so what I will do next now is talk about the neck dimension. For the neck dimension, for the width, I used 4 inches. Then for the depth, I used 3 inches. Okay, for the width, the wideness is 4 inches. The depth for the front, this is the front. The depth for the front is 3 inches. Okay, 3 inches. So for the back, we're going to be maintaining the same width of 4 inches. Then I'll be having a high neck at the back, so I'm going to be doing 1 inch for the back depth. Hope that is clear. So this is exactly what we have. This is the full length of the gown. Okay, so right now I'm going to be tracing this on my fabric. So before tracing to the fabric, let's talk about the sleeve. If you take note of the design this particular style we're trying to make, you'll notice that the sleeve is we have 3 colors on the sleeve: the main body color and 2 other colors. Okay, and where the first color started from, you will notice that it is about 1 inch or some inches after the elbow. Okay, so in this case now, from this down part to this point here is 11 inches. Okay, so from here to here is 11 inches. Then if you also notice, you will see that the 2 colors are not equal. The upper part is longer than the lower part. Okay, that is why I did not divide this 11 inches equally. Okay, so here I have the first division, we have 6.5. Then here I have 3.5. From here to here is 6.5. From here to here is 3.5, and that gives us 11 inches. So before taking to the fabric, I'm going to actually be cutting this point away, because this point here would be traced on 2 different fabrics. Okay, so I'll just cut it out like so, and of course I'm going to cut out this other point too. Okay, so we have it cut out that way. You might want to number it, but I don't think, since we don't have too many pieces, you won't get confused. But let's just number. So we have 1 here and we have 2 here. So we'll be cutting these pieces of pattern we'll be tracing them on another fabric. So let's trace the main body on our main fabric. Then of course continue from there. All right, so I've traced on the fabric. This is the down part. I added this because this pattern did not complete the length I'm working with. That's why you're seeing this extension here. And so every other part, I did not add any allowance. I just cut exactly because my pattern is already excess. So I only add the allowance to this sleeve area where I'm going to be attaching the other pieces we cut out. So I added half an inch here to attach the other pieces that we cut out. And all right, so I turned the neck using facing. You can see I didn't want to use ribbon, so I used facing to turn the neck, okay? And we have joined the two front pieces together. Remember that at the front there is a slit, okay? So I've joined the two together. Pay attention to the style. So the style has a slit at this top part, about 3 inches. So I stepped down from there. From the neck to this point is about 3 inches. Then I joined it towards the knee area. Now this down slit depends on how open you want the slit to be. Okay, so you can observe the style and you want to create that slit. So I did not close it to the end. You can see that it is open. Okay, so then I folded the open parts. You see, you can use hemming gum, but I folded and ran a stitch. So you can see the stitch even at the top part too. I ran a stitch, you can see it. So now let's talk about the snatching of the waist area. Okay, now to create that snatched effect, we are going to be creating or putting an inner belt. Okay, now I want my own snatch to start from somewhere around my under bust. So it depends on where you want the snatch to begin from. So I want it somewhere around my under bust, and this is the belt I'm going to be using. Okay, this is the belt. Yours can be, this is, okay, let me check the width of this belt. This is about 3.5 inches wide. My taper is less than 1 inch. So it's about 3.5, about 3.5 inches wide. Just a little bit more than 3.5. You see, 1, 2, 3. So yours can be less, you get. But the reason why I want it to be wide is because the wider it is, the more, it will start from my under bust, so it's going to go down towards my waist. So if you want it to snatch, more parts of your body, you want to increase the width of the belt. Now, the length of the belt is dependent on your waist circumference, because you want the belt to go around your waist. So in this case, the length of my belt here is about 19 inches. The same thing goes for this one. So your own length should be determined by your waist circumference, because the belt should go around your waist. Now, from my shoulder to my under bust is about 11 inches. Okay, so from this shoulder line here, from this top part, let me bring it down so we can see. So I want to mark where I would be sewing the belt. So from this starting point here, which is the shoulder, I'm going to be marking 11 inches. Okay. Okay, so here is 11 inches. You can see 11 inches on this side. On the other side, so you want to mark 11 inches. So I have from here to be 11 inches, from here to here to be 11 inches. Now, this is the midpoint. This is the midpoint. We are going to divide this midpoint into two. And how to go about that? You can use your bust span divided by 2, or you divide your waist circumference by 4. So my waist circumference is 26. So divided by 4 is, let me see what I have here. Okay, so my waist circumference is 26, divided by 4 is 6.5. So that's 6.5. You're going to share it between these two halves. Okay, so you place it, you get the midpoint of your 6.5 and place it at this midpoint. So here is one half of 6.5. Here is another half of 6.5. So you pick up your belt and you want to place it. You can see how I am placing it. So I'll place it from this down part here, from where the 11 inches stopped. Then I'll run a stitch. I'll run a stitch on it. Then the other belt, so you pick it up and you place it here and you run a stitch. Okay, so I'm going to run a stitch on it like so, and that is, and so when you're done running the stitch, you can now, we'll fix, this is still the front panel, we'll fix the back panel to it along the shoulder area, then we will continue from there, as you can see, on both sides. And I've also joined the back and front together along the shoulder. We also turn the back neck with facing. Okay, you can see we have joined it along the shoulder to this point where it stopped. Okay, along the shoulder like so. So right now, remember that we reduced this sleeve length because we wanted to follow the exact design we have. So this is where the parts we reduce. Remember this pattern. Let me bring back the pattern. Remember these patterns that we labeled 1 and 2. Okay, so we are going to be tracing this on two different fabrics. Okay, now for this bigger piece, we're going to be using this fabric. You can see that I already cut it out. Okay, this would be at the top like so. So here is for the bigger piece. Okay, so I added 1 inch, half an inch to join this to this, then half an inch to join this down part to the other part. Now for the smaller piece, for this smaller piece, we are going to be using, for this smaller piece here, we're going to be using this black fabric. Okay, and for the smaller piece that will be at the end part of the sleeve, I cut on fold. Okay, I cut on fold because the folded parts, let me bring it closer. So for this down part, I cut on fold, you can see, because this folded part here would be the down part, so that there will be no need to turn it or fold it in. There will be no need to hem it again because we already cut on fold. So, and I also added half an inch. Okay, the half an inch will be used to join it to this wine fabric here. So you want to cut your smaller piece on fold, on fold. So I'll be joining these pieces together and repeating the same process on the other sleeve. Then we're going to be joining by the side by half an inch. We are going to join it from this sleeve down to the hem of the gown by either half an inch or 1 inch. After which we are going to hem the down part of the sleeve of the gown. This is the slitted area, so we're going to be hemming the down parts. Now to hem the down parts, I'm going to open up this stitch a bit, so that when I'm done folding, then I can close up. Okay, because I don't want it to look this way. I want this part here to be hidden, so I'm going to open up the stitch to somewhere around here. So after folding by half an inch, let me show it. Let me just open it and show us what I mean. As much as possible, you want to achieve neatness. That was even why I did not back stitch at this point. Okay, all right, so you see I've opened up, I've loosed the stitch, so I'm going to be folding this hem area first, after folding by half an inch before I turn in again. So it's going to be looking very neat at this point here. So let's do that. So here is the outcome of the gown, that's the boubou with fitted waist that we have been making. Okay, you can see the slit. Then of course this is the sleeve, one part of the sleeve. So I want to quickly show us something at the wrong side, the belt area, the inner belt. So for the inner belt that we used in snatching the waist area, remember I said that you should divide your waist circumference by 4. So waist circumference for this particular boubou is 26. Divided by 4 is 6.5. I mentioned earlier that you should divide the 6.5. This is the midpoint. Divide the 6.5 on both sides. Okay, so when I did that, I didn't like the outcome. So what I went ahead to do was I used 6.5 on one side, the full 6.5 on one side, then the other side to 6.5. So this gave me exactly what I wanted. So from this midpoint to where the belt started from, I have 6.5. Okay, I have 6.5. Then on this side, so I have 6.5. So when you divide your waist circumference by 4, if yours is 7, you want to use 7 here, 7 here. If yours is 6, you want to use 6 here, 6 here. Okay, and of course, for the width of my belt, I have it to be about 3.5 inches. Okay, yours can be less, it can be more. And of course, the length of the belt, I did it to be about 20 inches. So this depends on your waist circumference, about 20 inches. So you want to make sure that the belt can go around your waist. Okay, then of course I fixed my belt from my shoulder. From my shoulder, I stopped at somewhere around my under bust because I want the snatching to start from the under bust and not just the waist. Okay, so from this beginning point to this point is my under bust distance. Okay, so this is how we're able to achieve this amazing style that you see. So thank you for watching. I hope you learned a thing or two. Drop your questions if you have any, and stick to this channel for more educative content, styles, illustrations, and fashion tips.